Have you ever wondered why strokes seem to come out of nowhere, often striking without warning, even in people who feel fine? Or why, after 60, our brain's blood supply becomes more fragile, even when we think we're doing all the right things? Understanding this silent threat is the first step in prevention. Stroke is not just a condition, it's a cascading failure of the body's internal communication system, and it can be devastating. Yet the encouraging news is this: up to 80% of strokes are preventable, especially with the right awareness and habits. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, nearly 795,000 Americans have a stroke every year, and the majority of them are over age 60. That's about one stroke every 40 seconds. But here's what many don't realize: the real danger begins long before a stroke ever occurs. It starts with small, quiet changes in blood vessels, blood pressure, brain chemistry, and lifestyle. Welcome back to the channel. Today we will explore a very important topic for health: stroke prevention after 60. This episode is not about fear. It's about understanding, acting early, and making changes that are entirely possible at any age. If you or someone you love is over 60, please share your experiences or questions in the comments. We're building a space of support, not just information. What exactly is a stroke? A stroke happens when blood flow to the brain is suddenly interrupted, either by a blockage, ischemic stroke, or a rupture, hemorrhagic stroke. Without oxygen, brain cells begin to die within minutes. It's this lack of oxygen, not the blockage itself, that causes the damage. But the real challenge? Most strokes don't announce themselves in advance. There's no countdown, no obvious pain, no early warning like a broken bone or chest pain. For many, the first sign of stroke is the stroke itself. This is especially dangerous after 60, when small blood vessel changes and subtle brain shifts may go unnoticed unless we're actively watching for them. Why strokes increase with age? There are three key reasons strokes become more common after 60. Blood vessel aging. As we age, our arteries naturally become less flexible and more prone to narrowing. This raises the risk of clots forming and lodging in the brain. High blood pressure becomes harder to control. Even people who never had issues with blood pressure before 60 often see an upward trend due to changes in kidney function and vascular tone. A lifetime of accumulated damage, years of smoking, poor diet, inactivity, or unmanaged stress may not show up until this stage of life, when the body is less resilient. It's not about punishment for the past. It's about recognizing that the brain needs more support now than ever before. Silent strokes, a hidden risk. Did you know that 1 in 10 older adults may have had a silent stroke without ever realizing it? These are tiny strokes, often missed completely, but they leave behind damage that accumulates over time. Studies using MRI imaging show that silent strokes double the risk of dementia and disability later in life. And here's the kicker: these silent strokes are often the first sign that someone is on the path toward a more serious, life-altering stroke. Early clues you might be at risk. If you or a loved one is over 60, here are 5 subtle warning signs that deserve attention, even if you feel fine. Sudden memory lapses or brain fog, short bursts of dizziness or imbalance, occasional numbness or weakness on one side of the body, changes in speech patterns like forgetting words, fatigue that feels heavier than normal. Alone, these might not seem like much, but together, they could point to early cerebrovascular changes that warrant medical evaluation. Stroke prevention starts with awareness. Here's the hopeful part: the brain responds beautifully to protection. Even after 60, the brain can adapt, grow new connections, and strengthen its vascular supply with the right care. Doctors now emphasize a neuroprotective lifestyle, one that supports not just heart health, but also the specific needs of the aging brain. This includes eating for vascular health. We'll cover this in depth in Section 5. Daily gentle movement to maintain blood flow. Sleep hygiene. See Section 3 for why it matters more than ever. Stress management, especially for those living alone or caring for others. And regular screening, even if you feel healthy. Why stroke prevention feels so urgent. Now, if you're 60 or older, you're at a crossroads. The years ahead can be vibrant and full, or filled with preventable setbacks. A stroke doesn't just affect the individual. It deeply impacts families, independence, and quality of life. By understanding the silent threat and acting early, you're giving yourself the best chance to stay active, alert, and in control of your days. And remember, prevention is not about fear, it's about freedom. Every healthy step you take today builds a stronger tomorrow. Up next in Section 2, Beyond Blood Pressure, New Risk Factors Uncovered, we'll explore 3 lesser-known contributors to stroke risk, including how your gut bacteria may influence your brain's vascular system. Section 2, Beyond Blood Pressure, New Risk Factors Uncovered. For decades, stroke prevention messages have focused almost entirely on blood pressure, and rightly so. High blood pressure is the #1 risk factor for stroke, especially after 60. But what if we told you that other factors, often overlooked in routine checkups, could be silently increasing your stroke risk, even if your blood pressure is under control? Many older adults feel relieved when their numbers are normal, but modern research has revealed new culprits that affect the brain's blood supply in more subtle ways. And these hidden threats don't always show up on a blood pressure cuff. In this section, we'll uncover 3 lesser-known, yet powerful risk factors that doctors are now urging older adults to pay attention to: chronic inflammation, gut microbiome imbalances, and vascular stiffness from lifestyle or medication side effects. Let's take a closer look at how these modern risks could be shaping your stroke profile and what you can do about them. 1. Chronic inflammation, the invisible spark behind stroke. Chronic inflammation is like a low-burning fire inside the body. You can't feel it, and it doesn't cause pain, but over time, it quietly damages your arteries and brain cells. Unlike acute inflammation, like a bruise or sore throat, chronic inflammation is persistent, systemic, and often tied to aging. Doctors now call it inflammaging, a key contributor to vascular diseases and cognitive decline. How does it lead to stroke? Inflammation makes the lining of blood vessels, the endothelium, more prone to plaque buildup and rupture. It weakens arterial walls, increasing the chance of small vessel disease, a leading cause of strokes in older adults. It disrupts normal clotting, making blood more prone to forming dangerous clots. How can you detect it? You might not feel it, but blood tests like C-reactive protein, CRP, can detect systemic inflammation. If your doctor hasn't checked this recently, it's worth asking, especially if you've had fatigue, joint stiffness, or weight gain. What can you do? Increase anti-inflammatory foods, leafy greens, turmeric, wild salmon, berries. Reduce sugar and processed oils, especially canola and soybean. Prioritize daily movement. Even a 20-minute walk lowers inflammation markers. Consider magnesium and omega-3 supplements with doctor guidance. 2. Gut health and stroke, a new frontier in medicine. It may surprise you, but what's happening in your digestive system can directly affect your brain's blood supply. Researchers have discovered that imbalances in the gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, can contribute to stroke risk by producing inflammatory chemicals and altering blood pressure regulation. One study published in Nature Neuroscience found that older adults with low levels of beneficial gut bacteria had higher stroke risk and slower recovery after a vascular event. What goes wrong? Bad gut bacteria release toxic byproducts like TMAO, trimethylamine N-oxide, which increase clot formation and artery damage. Lack of fiber and diversity in the diet can reduce the production of short-chain fatty acids, key compounds that protect the blood-brain barrier. The gut-brain vessel connection. A weakened gut barrier allows toxins to enter the bloodstream, promoting inflammation and vascular stiffness. Certain medications, like antibiotics, NSAIDs, and acid reducers, can disrupt this balance. What can you do? Eat fermented foods, yogurt with live cultures, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut. Increase prebiotic fiber, oats, garlic, leeks, asparagus, flax seeds. Limit processed meat, artificial sweeteners, and alcohol. Ask your doctor if a probiotic supplement might be helpful. 3. Arterial stiffness, the quiet loss of flexibility. As we age, our blood vessels lose elasticity. But this process isn't just natural, it's also heavily influenced by diet, stress, and even certain medications. Doctors now use a term called vascular age to describe this. You may be 65 chronologically, but your arteries could behave like they're 80 or 50, depending on your lifestyle. What happens when arteries stiffen? Blood can't flow as smoothly, raising the risk of hypertension and clot formation. Pressure pulses through the brain more forcefully, damaging small cerebral vessels. Stiff arteries impair autoregulation, the brain's ability to maintain steady blood flow under changing conditions. Common contributors: sedentary lifestyle, high sodium diet, excess caffeine or alcohol, overuse of certain medications like decongestants or long-term corticosteroids. What can you do? Prioritize potassium-rich foods like avocado, banana, and spinach to relax vessel walls. Drink more water. Dehydration contributes to stiffness. Try gentle stretching or Tai Chi to improve vessel flexibility. Limit medication overuse and review prescriptions regularly with your doctor. The big picture: why these risks matter more than ever. You might be thinking, if I feel fine, do I really need to worry about gut bacteria or inflammation? The answer is yes, because stroke rarely gives warnings, and these factors are often the first dominoes to fall before a visible problem arises. Many stroke survivors say the same thing. I had no idea anything was wrong. I was walking, talking, working, and then one day, everything changed. Prevention in your 60s is not just about taking fewer pills. It's about building a resilient, adaptive system that can weather the small hits before they become big ones. What you can ask your doctor today. Next time you're at the clinic, here are a few forward-thinking questions to discuss. Can we check my inflammatory markers like CRP or homocysteine? How's my gut health? Are there any signs of imbalance? What's my vascular age, and how can I improve it? Am I on any medications that could increase my stroke risk long-term? These are not typical questions, but they reflect cutting-edge knowledge that more and more geriatric and integrative doctors are using with their patients. Reframing stroke prevention as self-care. This is not about living in fear. It's about living informed, empowered, and proactive. Stroke prevention after 60 isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about small, daily habits that reduce invisible risks and strengthen your defenses quietly over time. In the next section, we'll go deeper into one of those daily habits: sleep. You'll learn how poor sleep can increase stroke risk, how doctors now link sleep apnea to silent strokes, and what you can do tonight to protect your brain. Section 3. The hidden link between sleep and stroke. You've heard that sleep is important, but did you know that poor sleep could silently increase your risk of stroke, even if you're otherwise healthy? After age 60, many people begin experiencing sleep changes: lighter rest, waking up more often, or rising too early. While this may seem like a normal part of aging, doctors now recognize that disrupted sleep can directly impact brain health and stroke risk. This section reveals the connection between sleep and stroke, highlights new research on sleep apnea and nocturnal blood pressure, and provides practical tips to help protect your brain each night. Why sleep matters more than ever. After 60, sleep isn't just for rest. It's when your brain cleanses itself, clears out toxins, and maintains healthy blood flow. At night, the brain activates its glymphatic system, a kind of internal rinse cycle that removes waste linked to inflammation and neurological damage. As we age, this system can slow down. When sleep is fragmented or too short, the brain's cleanup crew doesn't finish the job, and the buildup can increase inflammation, oxidative stress, and vascular wear. A study from the American Academy of Neurology showed that adults over 60 who consistently got less than 6 hours of quality sleep per night were nearly twice as likely to suffer a stroke as those getting 7 to 8 hours. Sleep apnea, a hidden culprit in healthy seniors. One of the most overlooked causes of stroke in older adults is sleep apnea, a condition where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep. Many people with sleep apnea don't even know they have it. What happens during sleep apnea? Breathing pauses cause sudden drops in oxygen levels. The brain responds by triggering mini stress responses: increased blood pressure, faster heart rate, and blood vessel constriction. Over time, this wears down the vascular system, especially the delicate vessels in the brain. Sleep apnea is not just about snoring. It's about oxygen starvation and nighttime spikes in blood pressure, which doctors now recognize as a major risk factor for ischemic stroke. Symptoms to watch for. Even without loud snoring, sleep apnea may be present if you notice: morning headaches, dry mouth on waking, daytime sleepiness or nodding off during activities, waking up gasping or choking, memory issues or brain fog. If any of these symptoms sound familiar, it's worth discussing a sleep study with your doctor. Modern tests can often be done at home without needing a hospital visit. The importance of nocturnal blood pressure. Your blood pressure should naturally dip at night, a gentle rhythm that gives your arteries a break. But for many people over 60, this dip stops happening. Doctors call this non-dipping, and it's now considered a strong predictor of stroke and heart events. Why does it happen? Chronic stress, poor sleep quality, overuse of caffeine or alcohol in the evening, inflammatory conditions or hormonal changes. Even with good daytime blood pressure, a poor nighttime profile could quietly damage the brain's small vessels over time. Improving sleep to protect your brain. Here's where the good news comes in. Improving sleep quality is one of the most powerful, low-cost tools you have to protect your brain after 60. And it doesn't require perfection, just consistency. 1. Create a sleep ritual. Go to bed and wake up at the same time daily. Use a warm light lamp or soft music to unwind. Avoid screens 1 hour before bed. 2. Keep your bedroom brain-friendly. Cool, 60-68, and quiet, no blinking lights or noisy clocks. Add blackout curtains or a white noise machine. 3. Eat and drink wisely. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. No large meals within 2-3 hours of bedtime. Sip calming teas, chamomile, lemon balm, valerian. 4. Consider natural sleep aids. Magnesium glycinate supports relaxation. Melatonin only under doctor guidance. Lavender oil or diffusers. Emerging research. The stroke-REM connection. New studies are exploring how the different stages of sleep affect the brain. One fascinating discovery: disruptions during REM sleep, the dreaming phase, are linked to higher rates of stroke and memory problems. REM is the stage when the brain consolidates learning, balances emotions, and regulates autonomic functions like heart rate and blood pressure. Losing REM sleep, even if total hours seem normal, can still harm vascular health. Conditions like depression, certain medications, or nighttime pain can all suppress REM without the person realizing it. Talking to your doctor about sleep. Most checkups don't include detailed sleep questions, but they should. Here's what to ask. Can we review my sleep quality as part of my stroke risk? Should I be screened for sleep apnea? Are any of my medications affecting REM sleep? Can we track my nighttime blood pressure for a few nights? Many doctors now recommend home BP monitors that track overnight patterns, a useful tool for those 60-plus who want full stroke protection. The role of stress and cortisol. Stress is a common reason sleep becomes fragmented after 60. Whether it's caring for a spouse, financial concerns, or feelings of isolation, chronic worry raises cortisol, a hormone that not only disrupts sleep, but also increases inflammation and blood clotting. Daily practices like deep breathing, gratitude journaling, gentle yoga, or even short evening walks can dramatically lower cortisol levels and improve rest. Real-life tip from a viewer. Age 72. I stopped watching the news after dinner and started reading calming books. I fall asleep faster now, and I feel clearer in the morning. My doctor says my BP is better too. It's these kinds of small, mindful changes that protect the brain, especially when practiced consistently. Sleep is not just rest, it's repair. If you take only one idea from this section, let it be this. Sleep is not a luxury. It's medicine for your brain. Just like food and movement, your nightly routine is a form of therapy, a quiet shield against stroke and memory loss. In the next section, we'll shift focus to daytime routines, specifically the small daily habits that improve circulation, reduce inflammation, and train the body to resist stroke over time. Section 4. The daily habits that shield your brain. Imagine if your daily routine could act like armor for your brain, gently supporting blood flow, reducing inflammation, and keeping your mental clarity strong for years to come. The truth is, it can. In this section, we focus on simple, realistic habits that people over 60 can incorporate without stress. These aren't extreme workouts or expensive supplements, just the everyday rituals that, when repeated consistently, create long-term brain resilience. Doctors call this approach lifestyle neurology, using gentle, daily actions to strengthen the brain's natural defenses. Let's dive into the most powerful habits you can build today to prevent stroke and stay sharp tomorrow. 1. Morning movement to wake up circulation. You don't need to run marathons to protect your brain. In fact, light, consistent movement, especially early in the day, has been shown to improve blood flow to the brain, lower blood pressure, reduce insulin resistance, support emotional balance. A study from the University of British Columbia found that older adults who walked 20 to 30 minutes daily had better memory function and lower stroke risk by nearly 40%. Try this: a 10-minute walk after breakfast, marching in place while brushing teeth, light stretching or Tai Chi in the living room, gardening, light yard work, or dancing to music. It's not about intensity, it's about frequency. The power of stillness, breathwork, and meditation. Stress silently damages the brain, especially when it goes unmanaged for years. It narrows blood vessels, increases clot risk, and disrupts your nervous system's balance. One of the best ways to counter this is breathwork, a simple, cost-free way to reset your nervous system in under 5 minutes. A simple 4-7-8 technique. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. Repeat 4 to 5 times. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing cortisol, calming the heart, and improving cerebral circulation. Regular mindfulness or prayer meditation, even just 10 minutes a day, has also been linked to reduced stroke and heart disease risk in multiple long-term studies. 3. Small diet tweaks with big impact. We'll cover full nutrition in Section 5, but here are 3 daily tweaks you can start now that directly impact stroke risk. Start your morning with fiber. Oatmeal, chia seeds, or psyllium husk lowers cholesterol and improves gut health. Use herbs instead of salt. Basil, oregano, turmeric, and rosemary add flavor and reduce reliance on sodium. Hydrate first. 1 glass of water before coffee helps lower blood viscosity thickness, reducing the chance of clot formation. Small changes done daily lead to big shifts over time. 4. Morning sunlight for blood pressure and brain rhythm. Morning sunlight sets your circadian rhythm, which controls your sleep, hormones, and even blood pressure. Studies show that 10 to 20 minutes of sun exposure before 10 a.m. can lower blood pressure, regulate cortisol, improve mood and focus, reduce nighttime blood pressure spikes. Just stepping outside after breakfast or sitting by a window can make a difference, especially for those who tend to stay indoors most of the day. Top 5. Brain journaling. A new kind of mental exercise. Mental stimulation doesn't have to mean doing puzzles all day. One of the best tools for older adults is brain journaling, the practice of writing brief reflections or plans to strengthen memory and emotional clarity. Try this each morning or evening. List 3 things you're grateful for. Write 1 memory from childhood. Note something you learned today. This practice supports cognitive function and can improve emotional resilience, both of which are protective against vascular dementia following a stroke. 6. Midday digital detox for brain rest. Screens are part of modern life, but too much visual and cognitive input, especially in the afternoon, can strain the aging brain. Taking 30 minutes away from screens each day, TV, phone, tablet, gives your brain a break and reduces mental fatigue. Use that time to call a friend, water plants, take a short walk, read a printed magazine or spiritual text. Even 15 to 30 minutes of unplugged time improves neuroplasticity and vascular tone. 7. Break up sitting time. Sitting for long periods reduces circulation and increases the risk of blood pooling and clotting in the lower body. After 60, doctors recommend standing or moving at least once every 30 to 45 minutes. Set a simple alarm or use natural triggers. Stand during TV commercials, walk during phone calls, do 5 chair squats while waiting for coffee. These mini movements help prevent deep vein thrombosis and keep blood flow to the brain steady throughout the day. 8. Social touchpoints matter. Isolation increases the risk of stroke, depression, and cognitive decline. Connecting with just 1 person a day, even briefly, can counteract this effect. Ideas: join a senior wellness group, attend a community class, yoga, cooking, discussion. Call or message 1 friend daily. Volunteer, even once a week. Social interaction improves mood, immune function, and blood pressure control, all vital for stroke prevention. Combine your habits into a flow. Here's how a day might look when brain health is your guide. 8 a.m., light walk plus sunlight exposure. 8:30 a.m., high-fiber breakfast with hydration. 10 a.m., breathwork or prayer meditation. 12 p.m., light lunch with herbs, no salt. 1 p.m., digital detox or call a friend. 3 p.m., stand stretch every 30 min. 6 p.m., early light dinner plus evening walk. 9 p.m., gratitude journaling plus wind down routine. This type of rhythm is gentle, realistic, and deeply protective, perfect for building a stroke-resistant lifestyle. Summary: build the shield one day at a time. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to build a few protective habits into your day and repeat them with love. These actions send a message to your body. This brain matters. I'm showing up to protect it. In the next section, we'll talk about how nutrition plays a pivotal role in preventing stroke, especially focusing on what older adults should eat and avoid for optimal brain blood flow. Section 5. What to eat and avoid to keep your brain safe. They say, you are what you eat. But when it comes to stroke prevention after 60, a more accurate phrase might be, your brain reflects what you eat, especially over time. Food choices don't just affect weight or cholesterol. They directly influence the health of your blood vessels, brain cells, and even your risk of stroke. After 60, your metabolism changes, inflammation patterns shift, and the brain's nutrient needs become more specific. In this section, we'll explore the smartest foods for brain protection, the hidden sodium traps that increase risk, and what doctors now recommend eating more of, not just less of, to stay mentally sharp and stroke-free. The foundation, a vascular-friendly plate. The brain-safe plate looks very similar to a Mediterranean-style or DASH diet, but with a few special touches for older adults. Half plate of colorful vegetables, especially leafy greens and cruciferous types like broccoli. Quarter plate of lean protein, fish, legumes, or poultry. Quarter plate of whole grains, quinoa, oats, brown rice. A small portion of healthy fat, avocado, nuts, olive oil. Why this layout? Because every item supports blood vessel flexibility, reduces clot risk, and delivers antioxidants that combat the oxidative stress aging brings. Omega-3s, the brain's best friend. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA, are known to reduce triglycerides, lower inflammation in blood vessels, improve circulation to the brain, reduce clotting tendencies in older adults. The Framingham study found that seniors with higher omega-3 levels had a 48% lower risk of stroke and dementia. Best sources: wild salmon 2-3 servings week, mackerel, sardines, trout, chia seeds, flax seeds, walnuts, ALA-type omega-3s. Algae-based supplements, great for vegetarians. The sodium sneak, more than the salt shaker. You've likely heard to cut back on salt, but did you know that over 70% of sodium intake comes from packaged foods, not your kitchen shaker? Here are hidden sources many over 60s overlook. Canned soups, even low-sodium brands, deli meats, bacon, and sausages, frozen meals and pizza, bread and crackers, condiments like soy sauce, ketchup, salad dressing. Doctors recommend keeping sodium under 1 in 500 milligrams a day after age 60, especially for those with high blood pressure or vascular issues. What to do? Read labels. Aim for under 300 milligrams per serving. Choose no salt added or low sodium products. Rinse canned beans and veggies. Flavor with herbs, lemon, and vinegar instead of salt. Antioxidants and polyphenols, brain-boosting compounds, protection from free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells and contribute to aging. That's where antioxidants come in, and the best source is colorful plant foods. Top picks for brain health? Blueberries and strawberries, linked to slower cognitive aging. Spinach and kale, rich in folate and vitamin K. Beets increase blood flow to the brain. Garlic and onions, anti-inflammatory and anti-clotting. Green tea contains EGCG, a brain-protective polyphenol. Eating a rainbow each week ensures a wide range of these protective compounds. Blood sugar and brain vessels. Spikes in blood sugar, even without diabetes, can damage the tiny vessels in the brain, increasing the risk of small strokes, also known as silent strokes. After 60, the body becomes more sensitive to carbs, especially processed ones. Try to avoid white bread, white rice, sugary cereals, baked goods like muffins and cookies, sweetened drinks, including diet sodas with artificial sweeteners. Better alternatives: steel-cut oats, quinoa and barley, carrot sticks, hummus, unsweetened yogurt, herbal teas, lemon water. The how matters too. Mindful eating. Rushed or distracted eating increases the chance of overeating and poor digestion. But even more surprisingly, eating too quickly has been linked to higher blood pressure and triglycerides. Here are a few mindful eating tips. Sit down for meals. Don't eat standing or in front of the TV. Chew each bite 20 to 30 times. Set your fork down between bites. Say a short word of gratitude before eating. This shifts your nervous system into rest and digest mode. Nutrients. Older adults often lack that support stroke prevention. After 60, absorption of some vitamins declines. These nutrients are especially important for vascular and neurological protection. Vitamin B12 supports nerve health and reduces homocysteine, a stroke-linked chemical. Magnesium lowers blood pressure and helps regulate clotting. Vitamin D, anti-inflammatory and supports immune function. Potassium balances sodium and supports vascular tone. Ask your doctor if you should be tested for these. They're easy to supplement if low, but even better when included through food. Anti-stroke superfoods, add these weekly. Leafy greens, spinach, Swiss chard, rich in folate and nitrates for vessel dilation. Berries, especially blueberries, fight oxidative stress. Nuts, walnuts, almonds, healthy fats plus magnesium. Legumes, lentils, chickpeas, plant protein plus fiber. Avocado, potassium and monounsaturated fats. Olive oil, heart and brain protective polyphenols. Fatty fish, salmon, sardines, omega-3 power. Dark chocolate, 85 plus flavonoids and circulation booster. Fermented foods, kefir, sauerkraut. Gut-brain connection. Green tea, antioxidant rich and hydrating. Foods to limit for stroke prevention. Processed meats, increase inflammation and sodium. Trans fats, hydrogenated oils, rare now but still found in some snacks. Sugary drinks, including juice, sweet tea, energy drinks. Pastries and white flour snacks. Alcohol in excess, especially if combined with medications. It's not about elimination, it's about awareness and moderation. A sample day of Stroke Smart Eating breakfast: oatmeal with blueberries, chia seeds, and almond milk. Herbal tea or black coffee. Lunch: lentil soup with chopped kale, whole grain toast with olive oil, cucumber slices and hummus. Snack: Greek yogurt with walnuts, green tea. Dinner: grilled salmon with quinoa and steamed broccoli, mixed greens with lemon olive oil dressing. Warm chamomile tea. This kind of eating nourishes not just the body, but the brain's vascular system, without being restrictive or hard to sustain. Food is medicine, but only if it's consistent. Here's the truth. One perfect meal won't prevent a stroke, but consistent, brain-nourishing eating, day after day, lowers stroke risk dramatically. You don't need to follow trends or buy expensive powders. You just need a plate full of whole, colorful, real foods served with love and eaten with attention. In the next section, we'll talk about exercise, not the kind that exhausts you, but the kind that gently trains your body to resist stroke, improve balance, and maintain circulation even on slow days. Section 6. Exercise without exhaustion. Many people over 60 hear the word exercise and immediately think, I'm too old for that. Or my joints can't take it anymore. Or simply, I don't have the energy. But what if we redefined exercise not as a strenuous task, but as a gentle daily invitation to move, stretch, and circulate blood to the brain? In this section, we'll explore how non-exhaustive movement can become your brain's best ally. We'll uncover what the science says about stroke prevention through low-impact activity, how even 10 minutes a day can shift your risk, and offer practical routines tailored to your body's needs. Why movement matters for brain health. Your brain is a high-energy organ. It requires 20% of your body's oxygen and blood supply, even though it only weighs about 3 pounds. That means anything that supports circulation, blood pressure control, and vessel flexibility directly helps your brain function. Exercise protects your brain by improving vascular elasticity, keeping arteries more flexible, enhancing blood flow to critical brain regions, lowering resting blood pressure, supporting better sleep, digestion, and mood. Increasing BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that boosts memory and learning. In short, movement is not just for muscles, it's for memory, mood, and stroke resistance. 1. Walking, the underrated wonder drug. Walking may be the most studied and proven form of exercise for stroke prevention. A study from Harvard Medical School showed that older adults who walked just 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, reduced their risk of stroke by over 35%. The key? Consistency over intensity. How to start, even if you're sedentary now. Begin with 10-minute strolls, morning or evening. Walk after meals to lower post-meal blood sugar, which affects vascular health. Use a cane or walker if needed, safety first. Walk with a friend, neighbor, or pet for emotional and cardiovascular benefit. And remember, laps around the living room count. It's movement, not mileage, that matters most. Gentle yoga and chair exercises. Flexibility and balance play a major role in stroke prevention, not just for brain health, but to prevent falls and complications if a stroke were to occur. Chair yoga, seated stretches, or gentle flow movements support venous return, blood flowing back to the heart, relax the nervous system, improve posture, which supports better breathing and circulation. Try this simple seated routine. Shoulder rolls, 10 forward, 10 backward. Neck tilts, side to side, front and back. Ankle circles. Seated twist, hands on knees, gently turning side to side. Forward fold from a chair, inhaling slowly and exhaling fully. Even 10 minutes a day of this movement promotes vascular tone and joint mobility. 3. Tai Chi and Qigong, flow for the over 60 brain. These ancient practices are now validated by modern science for their effect on stroke prevention and recovery. Benefits include improving balance and reducing fall risk, enhancing cardiovascular function, calming the nervous system, lowering cortisol, supporting lymph flow, immune health, and inflammation control. In one 2022 study, older adults practicing Tai Chi improved cerebral blood flow and cognitive performance more than those walking alone. Getting started. Look for local classes at senior centers or YMCAs. Try YouTube classes like Tai Chi for seniors or Qigong for beginners. Just 10 to 20 minutes, 3 to 4 times per week shows benefit. 4. Strength training without weights. You don't need a gym or heavy equipment to build strength. And strength isn't just about muscles, it's about supporting blood flow, improving metabolism, and stabilizing posture, all of which reduce stroke risk. Try bodyweight resistance movements, wall push-ups, sit to stand from a chair, support with arms as needed, standing calf raises, step-ups on a low stair. Use resistance bands or water bottles for added challenge if comfortable. Doctors recommend 2 days a week of resistance-style movement for brain and bone health, starting gently and increasing gradually. 5. Breathing, posture, brain circulation. Believe it or not, the way you breathe and sit affects how much blood and oxygen reach your brain. As we age, posture often collapses, compressing the chest and reducing lung capacity. This means less oxygen reaches the brain, and over time, that contributes to fatigue and stroke risk. Try this daily. Sit upright, feet flat on floor. Inhale slowly through your nose for 5 seconds. Hold for 3 seconds. Exhale fully through your mouth for 5 to 7 seconds. Repeat 4 to 5 times. This boosts oxygen levels, improves vagal tone, which supports heart rhythm, and increases mental clarity. Your weekly brain-friendly movement plan. Day 1, 20-minute walks, 10-minute chair stretch. Day 2, gentle strength plus 10-minute breath work. Day 3, Tai Chi video, 15 minutes. Day 4, rest or light gardening. Day 5, 30-minute walk. Day 6, yoga or Qigong plus posture training. Day 7, light movement, gratitude journaling. This kind of plan isn't tiring, it's energizing and protective, tailored to your body's needs and your brain's resilience. When not to exercise. There are times when movement should pause, including unusual chest pain or dizziness, extreme shortness of breath, sudden leg swelling, recent illness, dehydration, or low blood pressure. Always listen to your body. Movement should leave you refreshed, not drained. Talk to your doctor before beginning a new program, especially if you have heart disease or recent cardiac events, joint replacements or bone conditions, neurological symptoms like imbalance or vision changes. Movement builds confidence, not just muscles. Many older adults fear stroke because it feels sudden and uncontrollable. But every time you move, even for 5 minutes, you're taking action to build blood vessel flexibility, improve brain oxygenation, and keep your neurological system responsive and resilient. You're not just avoiding illness. You're training your brain to age with grace and strength. In the next section, we'll explore the role of medication, supplements, and modern monitoring tools, and how to use them wisely in your stroke prevention strategy. Section 7. Medications, supplements, and smart monitoring. You've heard a lot about how lifestyle, diet, and movement can prevent stroke, but for many people over 60, the picture isn't complete without understanding the role of medications and supplements, and how to monitor your health at home in smarter ways. Modern stroke prevention is about partnership. between your habits and your healthcare team, between your body's signals and your awareness. And that includes being informed about the right medications, when they're necessary, how to avoid overuse, and which supplements truly support brain health. In this section, we'll break it all down in plain English: what to ask your doctor, what to watch for, and how to use simple tools at home to stay one step ahead. The most common stroke-related medications. Over 60. Let's start with the core categories doctors often prescribe for stroke prevention. 1. Blood pressure medications, antihypertensives. These help lower pressure on blood vessel walls, reducing the risk of clots and vessel rupture. Examples: lisinopril, ACE inhibitors, amlodipine, calcium channel blockers, losartan, ARBs, hydrochlorothiazide, diuretics. What to monitor: dizziness, dry cough, leg swelling, dehydration. 2. Cholesterol medications, statins. These reduce the buildup of plaque in arteries and lower inflammation. Examples: atorvastatin, rosuvastatin, simvastatin. Benefits: some studies show statins lower the risk of both ischemic strokes and TIAs. Caution: muscle aches or liver enzymes. Always follow up with labs. 3. Blood thinners, antiplatelets, and anticoagulants. These prevent blood from forming clots that could block brain arteries. Common types: antiplatelets, aspirin, clopidogrel Plevix; anticoagulants, warfarin, apixaban, Eliquis, rivaroxaban, Xarelto. Used in people with atrial fibrillation, past strokes, or clotting risk. Always follow exact dosing. Blood thinners can cause serious bleeding if misused. What to ask your doctor about meds. Use these conversation starters. Is this medication reducing my stroke risk or just treating a symptom? What are the short and long-term side effects I should know? How will we track if this is working? Labs, blood pressure, symptoms? Are there any natural alternatives I can try alongside this, with your guidance? Never stop medications without consulting your doctor, but always stay involved in the decision-making process. Supplements that support brain and vessel health. Supplements should complement, not replace, your medications. And not all supplements are useful or safe for stroke prevention. Here are those most commonly supported by research for adults 60 plus. 1. Omega-3 fatty acids reduces inflammation and platelet aggregation, may lower triglycerides and support blood flow. 2. Magnesium glycinate or citrate supports vessel relaxation and reduces blood pressure. Most adults are mildly deficient. 3. CoQ10 supports mitochondrial health in brain and heart, may reduce statin-related fatigue. 4. Vitamin D3 reduces inflammation and supports immune and cognitive function. Ask your doctor to test levels before supplementing. 5. B-complex with B6, B12, folate helps reduce homocysteine, a stroke-related amino acid, supports nerve health and memory. Supplements to approach with caution. Ginkgo biloba may interfere with blood thinners. Vitamin E, high doses can thin blood dangerously. St. John's wort can affect medication metabolism. High-dose calcium may contribute to artery calcification. Always review supplements with your doctor or pharmacist, especially if you take prescription medications. Home monitoring, a game changer in prevention. More doctors now recommend smart home health tools for patients over 60 to catch warning signs early and adjust treatment promptly. 1. Digital blood pressure monitor. Use 2-3 times per week at the same time of day. Record results and share with your healthcare team. Look for patterns, not just numbers. 2. Pulse oximeter. Monitors oxygen saturation and heart rate. Useful for those with sleep apnea, COPD, or during illness. 3. Blood glucose monitor if diabetic or pre-diabetic. Keep fasting glucose below 100 milligrams per deciliters or as advised. High blood sugar increases vessel damage and stroke risk. 4. Wearable devices like Fitbit, Apple Watch, or Oura Ring. Track sleep quality, heart rhythm, steps. Some alert for atrial fibrillation, AFib, a major stroke risk factor. Signs to report to your doctor promptly. Never ignore these changes. New dizziness or imbalance, worsening memory or word-finding issues, leg or arm weakness, blood pressure consistently above 140/90 despite medication, irregular heartbeats or palpitations. These may be early signs of stroke, TIA, or vascular changes, and catching them early can prevent a major event. Practical routine for medication and monitoring. Morning. Take medications with food and water. Do a quick blood pressure check. Review any symptoms or changes in a journal. Evening. Use a sleep tracker or calming routine. Set medications or reminders for the next day. Write down one health win, e.g., walked 20 minutes today. This builds a sense of ownership and rhythm in your stroke prevention journey. Be proactive, not just reactive. Here's the most important idea in this section. Medications and tools are not crutches, they're allies. But they work best when you stay engaged. The goal isn't more pills, it's the right support at the right time with the right awareness. In the next section, we'll talk about something many stroke conversations leave out: the emotional and psychological impact of aging and health risk, and how loneliness, stress, and self-doubt quietly increase your stroke risk too. Section 8. The emotional side of stroke prevention. When we think about stroke prevention, we usually focus on numbers: blood pressure, cholesterol, steps per day. But there's another side, the emotional side, that's just as important, especially after age 60. Stress, loneliness, grief, fear, and even boredom can impact your brain and body in visible ways, increasing inflammation, raising blood pressure, disturbing sleep, and quietly weakening your natural defenses against stroke. In this section, we'll talk openly about the psychological risk factors many older adults face, and more importantly, we'll offer gentle, practical tools to support your emotional health, boost resilience, and stay connected, even during difficult times. How emotions impact the brain and blood vessels. You may not see it on a scan, but emotions are biological events, not just feelings. When you feel lonely, anxious, or overwhelmed, your brain triggers a cascade of physical responses. Stress hormones, like cortisol and adrenaline, increase, blood vessels narrow, heart rate and blood pressure rise. Blood becomes more prone to clotting. Over time, chronic emotional stress can damage the lining of your arteries, contribute to small vessel disease in the brain, and increase the risk of both stroke and cognitive decline. The loneliness epidemic among older adults. According to the U.S. Surgeon General, more than 1 in 3 adults over 60 reports feeling lonely regularly. And this isn't just sad, it's dangerous. Studies show that chronic loneliness increases the risk of stroke by 32%, heart disease by 29%, depression by 100%, dementia by 50%. Loneliness activates the same areas of the brain involved in pain processing and increases pro-inflammatory gene expression. In simple terms, feeling isolated is hard on the heart and harder on the brain. Grief, retirement, and identity loss. Many people experience major emotional transitions after 60. Loss of a spouse or sibling, retirement or reduced social roles, moving out of a long-time home, reduced mobility or independence. These changes can bring on grief, uncertainty, and even depression, all of which have been linked to increased stroke risk. And yet, many older adults hide these feelings, fearing they'll be seen as weak or burdensome. But in truth, acknowledging emotional pain is a strength and a stroke prevention strategy. Practical emotional care tools for brain health. You don't need therapy to care for your emotions. Here are small daily actions that protect your brain and lift your spirit. 1. Morning anchor routine. Start each day with one grounding habit: stretching, prayer, reading, music. This sets your nervous system into a calm, regulated state. 2. Connection goals. Call or message at least one friend or family member each day. Even short check-ins reduce loneliness markers in the brain. 3. Journaling for emotional processing. Write for 5 minutes daily about your feelings, losses, or memories. Research shows expressive writing improves blood pressure and mood. 4. Laughter and lightness. Watch a favorite comedy. Share a joke with a neighbor. Smile at yourself in the mirror. Yes, really. Laughter reduces stress hormones and improves vessel dilation, literally softening the body from the inside out. Stress reduction techniques that really work. Breathing and grounding. Use slow, controlled breath to activate your vagus nerve, which calms your heart and improves brain oxygenation. Try this. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Repeat 4 to 5 times. Nature walks. Being in nature, even for 10 minutes, reduces cortisol, slows heart rate, and improves emotional regulation. Prayer or spiritual reflection. Whether religious or not, connecting to something larger than yourself brings perspective, peace, and resilience. When to ask for help. There's no shame in needing emotional support, but too many seniors wait too long to seek it. Talk to your doctor if you notice. Loss of interest in things you used to enjoy. Sleeping too much or too little. feeling worthless, guilty, or anxious for days, trouble concentrating or making decisions, thinking, what's the point? These are not just signs of aging, they're signs of stress on the brain, and your doctor may recommend a therapist, support group, or medication to help restore balance. Build a resilience circle. Create a small group of people, family, friends, neighbors, church members, who you can check in with regularly. It might be one phone call a week. It might be sharing meals once a month, but having a circle gives your brain a sense of safety and belonging, key ingredients in long-term stroke prevention. Real viewer testimonial. After my husband passed, I stopped talking to people. I started walking alone every morning, and eventually I said hello to a neighbor. Now we walk together. That little connection changed my whole mood, and my doctor says my blood pressure is better too. Never underestimate the power of being seen, heard, and cared for. Emotional strength is brain strength. Stroke prevention isn't just about arteries and exercise. It's also about your heart, both physically and emotionally. The older we get, the more emotional layers we carry, and the more important it becomes to give ourselves grace, support, and space to feel. In the next section, we'll equip you with life-saving knowledge, how to spot early signs of stroke or TIA, and how to act fast to protect your brain before lasting damage occurs. Section 9. Spot the signs, act fast. One of the most tragic things about strokes is that so many could be treated if caught early. Yet, according to the American Stroke Association, only 38% of adults over 60 can identify the main signs of a stroke. That means more than half of older Americans might miss the warning signs in themselves or a loved one, and with stroke, every second counts. This section will help you learn exactly what to watch for, what to do in the moment, and how to advocate for yourself or someone else when seconds matter. Because the earlier a stroke is treated, the more likely recovery is possible and permanent brain damage is prevented. What is a stroke? Briefly recapped. A stroke happens when blood flow to the brain is interrupted. Ischemic stroke, most common, a blood clot blocks a brain artery. Hemorrhagic stroke, a weakened blood vessel bursts and bleeds into the brain. Both types cut off oxygen and nutrients to brain cells, which start to die within minutes. The key message: time is brain. The golden window: why speed is everything. The brain loses 2 million neurons every minute during a stroke. But here's the hopeful part. If treated within the first 3 hours, some stroke damage can be reversed. A drug called TPA can dissolve clots, but it only works if given early. Fast action can cut disability in half and even save a life. That's why knowing the signs and acting quickly is the difference between full recovery and permanent loss. The FAST acronym, simple and life-saving. Doctors use the FAST test to help people remember the top stroke symptoms. F, face. Ask the person to smile. Does one side droop? A, arms. Ask them to raise both arms. Does one drift downward? S, speech. Is speech slurred or strange? Can they repeat a simple phrase? T, time. Call 911 immediately if you see any of these signs. Even one of these signs is enough to treat as an emergency. Other warning signs to know. Not all strokes present with classic symptoms. Be alert for sudden confusion or trouble understanding speech, sudden vision changes in one or both eyes, sudden dizziness, loss of balance or coordination, sudden severe headache with no known cause, numbness or weakness in the face, arm, or leg, especially on one side. If symptoms appear suddenly and don't improve, call emergency services immediately. Don't wait to see if it passes. What is a TIA stroke? A transient ischemic attack, TIA, is a temporary blockage of blood flow to the brain. Symptoms are stroke-like, but go away within minutes or hours. But don't be fooled. TIAs are urgent warnings. Nearly 1 in 3 people who have a TIA will later have a full stroke, often within days. Never ignore sudden slurred speech, brief paralysis or numbness, visual flashes or blackouts, a moment of confusion or incoherence. Even if you feel better later, see your doctor or go to the ER immediately. What to do if you suspect a stroke? Call 911 or emergency services right away. Don't drive yourself. Don't wait for someone to feel better. Note the time symptoms began. This helps doctors decide on treatments like TPA. Keep the person safe and comfortable. Don't give food, drink, or medication unless instructed by paramedics. Stay calm and observe. Write down what you see: slurred speech, one-sided weakness, etc. At the ER, what to expect. When you arrive at the emergency room for a suspected stroke, a CT scan is usually done within 20 minutes to check for bleeding. If ischemic stroke is confirmed and you're within the time window, TPA or clot removal procedures may be offered. Blood tests, EKGs, and brain function exams follow. Advocate for yourself. Tell the team, this started at time and I suspect stroke. Fast action matters. Follow-up. After a TIA or minor stroke, even if you dodged a bullet, don't stop there. Ask your doctor, what caused this event? What's my blood pressure and cholesterol status? Do I need an echocardiogram or carotid artery ultrasound? Should I start a blood thinner or statin? Preventing the next event depends on understanding the first one. Real life story, anonymous, age 73. I had slurred speech for 15 minutes, then it stopped. I told my daughter, and she said, "You're fine." But I insisted we call my doctor. It was a TIA. Now I'm on the right meds, and I feel like I got a second chance. You may only get one warning. Take it seriously. Managing fear of stroke. It's normal to feel anxious about stroke, especially if a friend or spouse has been affected. But living in fear can create more harm than good. Instead, reframe fear into readiness. Keep emergency contacts by the phone. Teach family members the fast signs. Have a plan for transportation if you live alone. Use medical alert bracelets or systems if needed. The goal is not panic, but preparedness. Empowerment summary. Spot, act, protect. You can do this. Just remember, FAST is your daily safety net. TIAs are not minor, they're urgent. Every minute counts. Advocate boldly for yourself and loved ones. In the next and final section, we'll bring all of this together. You'll learn how to live confidently, not fearfully, with practical routines and lifelong habits that protect your brain without making health feel like a chore. Section 10. Living confidently with prevention in place. After exploring every layer of stroke prevention, from blood vessels and brain chemistry to food, sleep, movement, and emotions, you now hold the tools to protect your brain for years to come. But perhaps the most powerful tool of all is confidence. Not in a perfect body, not in a long list of medications, but in your own ability to show up every day with awareness, curiosity, and small, loving choices. In this final section, we'll bring it all together. You'll discover how to create a rhythm of prevention, how to stay motivated through real-life changes, and how to turn this knowledge into a way of living, not a list of rules. A quick recap of what you've learned. Section 1. Stroke after 60 often begins silently. Awareness is key. Section 2. Beyond blood pressure, chronic inflammation and gut health play huge roles. Section 3. Poor sleep increases stroke risk, especially with sleep apnea or non-dipping BP. Section 4. Simple habits like walking, stretching, and sunlight protect the brain. Section 5. Eating for vascular health means whole foods, fiber, omega-3s, and low sodium. Section 6. Gentle exercise like Tai Chi, breathing, and strength training builds resilience. Section 7. Medications and supplements, when used wisely, can be powerful tools. Section 8. Emotional health is vascular health. Connection and stress care matter. Section 9. Recognizing early signs and acting fast can save a life. Now let's talk about living this out, not perfectly, but sustainably. The Daily Stroke Shield Routine. Here's a simple structure you can adapt to your life. Not a schedule, just a rhythm. Morning drink a glass of water, 10 to 15 minutes of movement or stretching. High-fiber breakfast, oats, chia, berries. Step into sunlight or open a window. Midday, balanced lunch with leafy greens and healthy fat. Connect with someone. Call, text, smile. Take a short walk or do posture stretches. Check blood pressure if you're tracking it. Evening, light dinner with protein and vegetables. 30-minute tech break. Journaling or gratitude reflection. Gentle wind down and sleep prep. None of this is extreme. It's gentle, flexible, and brain protective. Turning prevention into a lifestyle. Here are a few mindset shifts that make prevention sustainable. Think in decades, not days. You're building a brain for your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Aim for consistency, not perfection. Missing one walk doesn't erase progress. Measure how you feel, not just what you weigh. Energy, clarity, and calm matter more. Build routines, not restrictions. Focus on what you're adding, not just removing. Monthly check-in rituals. Each month, take 30 minutes to check in. Review your blood pressure readings, refill medications or supplements. Reflect. What's working? What needs adjusting? Plan one joyful connection. Visit, dinner, walk. This small ritual turns knowledge into real-life momentum. Building your prevention support team. You're not in this alone. Build a small circle that includes a primary care doctor who knows your goals, a trusted friend or family member who checks in regularly, an accountability buddy for walks or healthy meals, a community, church group, senior center, or even an online circle. Isolation weakens, connection strengthens. Real-life success, Ruth, age 74. I used to feel overwhelmed by health advice. Now I just focus on my routine. Morning walk, BP check, veggie lunch, afternoon rest. I've had no TIAs in 3 years, and my doctor says my brain looks strong. I feel more alive than I did at 60. That's the magic of living with prevention, not fear. Final message. Your brain is listening. Every small action you take, every glass of water, every deep breath, every moment of rest is a signal to your brain. I am protecting you. I am showing up for you. Stroke prevention doesn't mean avoiding life. It means creating a life that is steady, nourished, and connected, so your brain can thrive. And remember, healthcare is a daily journey. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. If you found this video useful, please share it with your loved ones. Subscribe to the channel to be a companion every day.